So it's gonna go into YouTube, hopefully, if I do like a good enough job. So for those of you who don't know, the NRG Nerd Rage Gaming Series was this weekend in Milwaukee. That is somewhere in the US, I'm sure. And then people went there, and it was a 10K tournament. So it was a pretty big paper tournament. And Scales took it down. Spoiler alert. Sorry, you didn't know. You probably know. And they streamed the thing, which is awesome. They streamed the thing, which is pretty awesome. I think actually maybe it's better to put a theater mode. No. What is the theater mode? There you go. This is cool. So the idea is that they streamed the thing, and it's a paper tournament, which is kind of cool. Sorry, I'm gonna turn on the heating real quick. Forgotten about that. And Scales took it down with this list. So it was a green-white Scales playing 25 lands and a Springleaf Drum, playing both Esper Sentinel and Juju Smith. And I've talked many times before that, yeah, I know it's like close to Chicago. That's all I know. Because you fly to Chicago to go to Milwaukee from Europe. So the thing is that you are playing Smith, and I've talked this many times, that when you're playing Smith, you want to play more mana sources because the Smith is a very mana intensive card. You have the Ravager, you have the Zavaz, you have the Esper Sentinel, the kind of classic cards. He's also playing Animation Module, which again makes sense when you're playing 26 mana sources. Only one Gungeon Jar and one Basilisk Scholar. And the sideboard, Torpor, Meters, in general, like removal, all the good stuff. Pithing Needle, only one ending, which is very interesting. I mean, super high on ending, but of his list, yeah. So we're gonna watch this. I think, does it work if I do like this? Yes. So I'm gonna skip through. So this guy, Antonio Zanuto, who is a half Italian, half Spanish, probably. Spain versus Colin Britton. This is the top 8, so the quarterfinals. And they're the 4th seed versus the 3rd seed. And Antonio apparently is already ahead one game. Did I miss it, or is it just... Oh yeah, it was happening behind camera, I'll say. So we didn't get to watch that, right? So that's just not happening, all right? Yeah, there is, obviously. So the man is playing this. I'm just going to start skipping over, so we don't need to watch people shuffle. Yes, he got a hand. It's kind of hard to know what's up. There's a ballista. There is probably some kind of a pathway. I have no idea what that is. I don't know. It just looks like a fine hand. Brandon is mulliganing. It's interesting. You shuffle your opponent's deck. You're wearing a mask, you're shuffling your opponent's deck. Alright, sorry. No, I will not make comments about those things. Antonio's up one game, so he has sideboard cards. He had 2 Void Mirrors on the sideboard and 2 Torpors, which I find sometimes are pretty good in this matchup. Opponent's making mulligan decisions. He's a green gamer as well. He's playing a Temor Rhinos. Yeah, it could be Saga. Yeah, you're right. So he is going to start with a Razor's Edge Ticket with a Esper Sentinel. Great turn 1 play. I feel versus Rhinos, the issue is sometimes that they have like the very efficient removal, and on the top of that, they have like a lot of beaters, right? So they run you out of, they kill your stuff and they beat you down pretty fast. But Esper Sentinel can undo that. I like the play, obviously. I think in general, Esper Sentinel is like the better turn 1 play. I'm gonna skip through. My God, this is the worst part of Paper Magic, the shuffling. So therefore, we are like watching the NRG series. It's playing Saga. This is bad, guys. If you're playing Saga on paper, remember to put the trigger up first. You should really announce the trigger before you do anything, because the opponent can respond to the trigger, and then it gets messy if you already catch your ballista. So just play the Saga and say trigger, put the counter on, tap it. So he goes for the ballista. MTG vulnerable card. So he goes for the ballista. He's not looking too hot. So here opponent can be Rhinosing. Yeah, it's important that when you play... Oh, opponent misses a land drop. Wow. Missing a land drop against Esper Sentinel is brutal. So you should always announce it. When you play a Saga, you say trigger and you put the dice on. Don't be lazy and just play it. And tap it for mana directly, because your opponent can respond. So he hits for 2. Not even gonna make a construct. Also good play. Constructs block Rhinos pretty efficiently, and our opponent's missing land. So opponent finds a land. And so here, if I was the one playing... I'm thinking of killing my opponent, actually. My opponent has not Force of Vigor me yet. So he has not been Force of Vigor Antonio. So that means that probably the opponent doesn't have the Force of Vigor since he just drew a land, right? He just drew a land, so he doesn't have Force of Vigor. And he's gonna tap out now for Rhinos. For Charlotization, most likely. Yeah, especially with March and Force of Vigor and all of those cards, right? So now that the point would be what he should do is he should start thinking about how he's going to kill the opponent, right? He can make constructs on block, and that's a fine thing. But Rhinos, again, play Force of Vigor and play a lot of other obnoxious cards, which are very hard to beat. So now he's announcing the Sentinel trigger before the Cascade trigger goes on the stack. Again, play tight, guys. Play tight. He's on an animation module. I'm not sure animation module is very good in this matchup, to be honest, because animation module in general doesn't block very well Rhinos, but I mean, he knows what he's doing. I don't think I keep animation module in my deck. So he plays a construct. Again, he's cutting corners like crazy. I don't like doing this when I'm playing Magic. I don't like taking so many shortcuts. I like to announce everything I'm doing. Yeah, I don't think module is very good in this matchup. I like to announce everything that I'm doing, do the things on the proper times. This way there's no misunderstandings. I think a lot of the misunderstandings in my paper happen because people would play just way too fast, you know? I haven't really, let's have a look at his hand. I missed that, 1 sec. He's just gonna spread the hand now, I think. Yeah. So it's any module. I think this is a Ravager, this is a Vase. So with Ravager, Zavaz, and a Nozzle is coming off, and your opponent at 13, I'm pretty sure you can kill them there, right? You can tap, even you can sacrifice the animation module, so you can have a 2-2 Ravager, 4 counters on the Ravager with the Zavaz, 5, 6, and then the +1 the counters on Zavaz. So this is exactly lethal. And this is how I like to approach my games. I'm always thinking, can I present lethal this turn? And he actually, I think he has lethal. So let's see if he gets it. Yeah, he has lethal for sure. I think that was a Ravager. Also, they can kill with Igmas, you're right. They can kill with both the Ballista and Igmas right here. So it's, and they have a land because they have a second Igmas. So let's see what Antonio does here. Very interesting. Also, the pace of gaming. So I know what they're discussing right now. He's won already. But I think, again, play tight, guys. It's always good to play tight. I mean, I don't know, I'm the expert, but I've done this. I've killed people on this spot many, many times. And I think this is one of the first lines you need to learn as a skills player. When your saga goes on the stack, first, you don't put the 3rd chapter until you have search. Right? There is a trigger on the stack, and the trigger puts the chapter. You know, that's also important. Because now the saga has died, and he has no search. Like, if you put the 3rd on, you killed your saga right now. So it's very important, again, you announce, there's a trigger on the stack. With my saga, I will tap it for mana. Very important. Add 300 MTG. Okay, I'm lying. Anyhow, you should announce it. It's okay. On the resolution of the trigger, you will die. I would rather you get the trigger right. There's a trigger, and then you search, and as you're searching, you put the 3. I don't know. He's tanking a bit, so I'm gonna skip forward. He has a kill here. It's very obvious. He's thinking, I guess, about Force of Vigor. Okay, he's tapping it for mana and removing the guns. Okay, whatever. Anyway, you can announce it however you want. This is fine. So he's searching. I think he needs to look for the Osiris. He looks for Basil's Scholar. Okay, that makes no sense. I think he has a Ravager in hand, so he has lethal. With a 1-1 Ballista, I don't particularly feel this is the most strongest play. But he has a Ravager in hand, he has an Igmas, so he had lethal here. So Antonio, even though he won the tournament, very great player, he missed lethal here. Or he was playing again. I mean, he even had a saga. I mean, the thing is, if your opponent had Force of Vigor, he would 100% have Force of Vigor you, in my opinion. Like, this play makes no sense, in my opinion. Like, all of this is kind of bad. You should just go for it. Like, you play the saga, your opponent's going to Force of Vigor you on the spot. Kill your saga, kill your sentinel. That's going to be what it is, you know? I think the best here was to go for an Osiris kill on the Igma. I mean, there's so many options. Anyhow, he attacks with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 construct, which is fine. Opponent goes down to 8. Opponent is basically almost dead on board. He has 2, 3, 4. So there's like 6. So he's almost dead on board. Anyway. But I think this is risky, you know. You're giving your opponent time to draw their forces of vigors. This is so important. Now I don't know if my opponent has a force of vigor or not. And I think that's super important when you're playing scales, guys, to really be cognizant of if my opponent has not force of vigor me yet, and they have a great opportunity to force of vigor me. The more we go into this, yeah, exactly. Because now you give your opponent the ability to remove the ballista. It just maybe the attack is fine, then you sag your board to the ballista. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. So you need to be. So see, there's a Fury now. There's an answer to the things, right? I love it. Whoa, wow, that's so bad. He puts 1 here. That's super bad. Nintendo Chan, thanks for follow. So this Fury is also really terrible because just by sacking this, he keeps both of these. Like, just by literally just sacking the Esper Sentinel with the Ravager, he keeps the Ravager and the Construct alive. So this Fury is, yeah, whatever. But Fury is not very good in this kind of board. And you always ask your opponent to order the triggers. What goes on the stack first, the evoke or the damage? So you know. Yeah, opponent didn't play well here. Your opponent cannot really attack. So the thing is, I was reading this article today about Star City Games. Star City Games, they're like discontinuing their competitive articles. But the last article of Ari Lax, he discusses about this. The idea that whenever you don't know whether to go for it or not, the earlier you go for it, of course, the less chances your opponent has to draw the answer. And on top of that, which is very important, you put pressure on your opponent, you know what I mean? Like, you really need to, you force them to have the answer. Look at this. Your opponent, now you've won anyway, because you're still, actually, I don't know. This is not looking that great for our opponent. You know what I mean? Like, for our hero here, Antonio. So he takes 10. Yeah, let's skip forward to the... this should be lethal. He has 4, 5, 6. So he literally needs to find any 2 artifacts are lethal. Taps that. He has a Splinking Dam and animation model, so he has lethal. For sure, right? So he should just kill them. Like, there is no reason not to kill them. But he could have killed them last turn, right? So why wait? Why wait 1 turn? He has it. So now when he sacks he should tap the... You also read that. So you should tap any artifact, doesn't matter which one. Make a mana, make a servo. Make this big and put here and win. And just hope your opponent doesn't have Force of Vigor. Your opponent still has Force of Negation in their deck, which is kind of weird, but... Oh, they actually force the... It still is lethal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, now this is 6, 7. Yeah. So you got 7 counters. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. Oh no, we're 1 short, right? And now it's lethal, right? He's gonna see it, right? There's no reason not to. So he's going for it. This is lethal. Good job, Antonio. You got it. But again, it's super important, guys. I'm going to find the link for you and I'm going to link it. Also, I'm going to link it in the YouTube. This is super important. This point that Ari makes here. That you shouldn't play, basically, you shouldn't play scared, right? I think this is the article is aptly called... Antonio won here, so the article is called 5 Lies You Believe about Magic Strategy. And it has this cool... There's a lot of cool ones, but this one I really liked, this tip here. This thing of playing around cards. Says that you basically... The biggest reason people talk themselves out of lines is the fear of something going horribly wrong, especially when you're ahead. When you're ahead, you are always afraid of, oh my god, what if my opponent has a Solitude? Okay, what would you rather happen? That the game goes on for 10 more minutes and your opponent ends up having both the Solitude, the Fate Time Raveler, and the Fair Hero Domain area? No, right? So you guys should read this article. This point is super important, but all the points are very good. I think Ari did a great job here. So yeah, here Antonio won. Congratulations, Antonio, the best. Then we need to skip forward. I actually don't know where the next match starts. It's here. So on the semifinals, our hero, our boy Antonio, is playing against. I think this is the semifinals against Murktide. And there's also a nice article on Reddit about the Murktide, well, not this gamer, but the other Murktide gamer, the one that got to the finals, about the deck. It's pretty good. Yeah, Antonio won, but it's good to see the games anyway. It's good to see how powerless he felt against Scales. So you should feel powerful when you're playing Scales against Murktide, even though Archmage's Charm is a beating. Anyway, let's start skipping forward here a bit. So this is the list. Again, if you have not seen it, 4 Smith Gamer, no stirrings, 26 mana sources, animation module, and color. Let's see. Antonio is Brazilian, maybe. All right, so the game starts here. Again, Antonio's up one game. Maybe they're not like putting him as a main like casting person because nobody wants to watch Scales or something. I don't know. So he has a Smith, a Llano Reborn, and something else. You guys know I don't love Llano Reborn at the moment. I think Taplands are a huge cost. Or whatever. We saw Smith, we saw Llano Reborn. It's hard to see what else. Shuffling, shuffling, shuffling. Opponent's obviously holding a counter spell. And what I do here normally is I look at my worst threat and just jam it. And say, okay, let's take the trade. This is a pathway, I guess, or something like that. He casts a Smith. I guess it's a green-white pathway. It resolves. Alright, so that's why, and you always jam it. I think if you don't jam it, it's a mistake here. Because worst case scenario is just trading. And if you're not trading, which is fine too, you can you get to resolve a threat. And now your opponent needs to deal with it, right? And it's a 2-for-1. Cast his Welding Jar. Your opponent's gonna bolt in response. He's gonna 2-for-1 themselves here. That's the power of Engineer Smith. I really like this list. I'm gonna play it after this. So he bolts it. You just 2-for-1 your opponent. You have a Welding Jar. That's not the worst. Opponent has a very flashy deck. He seems to have Fetch Land, Unholy Heat, and I really have a hard time seeing what the fuck is going on because they're all foil. Engineer Explosives, maybe? So, okay, he has the Pines of Pathway. I like to play my lands with like these black backs. Like the black backs, so they cannot, you know, you can always play. I like to have like of course I have my deck double sleeved, but the double sleeve is the black one. So see what he has also going on. Darsus Citadels of Ass. A lot of lands. I think here your opponent is kind of likely to counter almost whatever you cast, but your opponent didn't counter it before, right? So I think the point is you just jam. You jammer. Plays a 1-drop. So he's gonna play this of Ass here. Like how we just, dude, love your cards, guys. Just put them on the table and say, I cast a Ass. You know, make a point. I would Welding Jar here. I normally do because, I mean, unless you're really saving it for something, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Oh, he taps it for mana. All right, and passes. Wow, he cracks the Fire's Islet. Okay. Yeah, he's just bolting everyone, but I think this was fine to Welding Jar. But I don't know. It's gonna Murktide, so this is what I mean, you know. I would rather untap with a Zabaz than untap with a Welding Jar, but whatevs. Okay, so opponent has a 5-5 Murktide, not the most scariest. We have 5 mana available, which is a lot for the turn 4. And we're drawing a Narvan Ravager. Oh, that's sweet. That's a sweet draw. Imagine having a Zabaz. So I think it would be cool. I would have at least play Darsus Citadel and then things. Important thing, guys, in paper and MTGO, do not play your land before you know what the fuck you're gonna play this turn. Even though, if you play your land so quickly, you're telling your opponent that you only have this land to play. You know what I mean? Because you play the land and says, okay, I'm gonna do my thing, I'm gonna play the land, and then I'm gonna think about what I'm gonna do. That's not good. You should really think, what are you going to do the whole turn? Think it through and then go like, that's a seal, Ravager, this and this. You know? Bam. Again, like super loose play, like. Okay, he did good, he did good. He passed now. That's a good idea. And he still has a Welding Jar. I don't know. what would you guys do? Would you save the Zavas knowing that this is your follow-up play, or would you keep the Wellinger alive? I don't know. Wellinger is looking pretty good here, but so would be a Zavas, right? Okay, opponent, he's displaying something, he's gesticulating a lot. We are way ahead on board. We have a Hangavak, we have a Ravager, we have a 5 mana, we have 1 card in hand, and we can put lures in our hand next turn and play our 2-drop. You keep Zavas, right? I think that's just the better line. You also keep it's 2 counters Zavas, whereas the Wellinger is 1. Opponent is going to start here their turn by playing a DRC as a 1/1, by the way. So here next turn, we can do everything. We can put lures in our hand, we can put a counter on Hangavak, and we can even cast a 1-drop if we have it. Or we can forego putting a counter on the Hangavak and just cast a 2-drop if we have it too. Again, opponent's doing the same mistake. Plays the DRC first because this is like the obvious play, and then he thinks about the non-obvious play. This is not a good idea, guys. You should always think your whole turn through before you make any plays, especially on paper, and then you play. You know, you're like, okay, what do I have? Counterspell, land, DRC. Oh, this sucks. Okay, I'm going to play my DRC and say go. You should always do this. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they drew it or not. Oh, they even draw a Ballista. Jesus Christ. Okay, he's on pretty hot. He has a Ballista. I would 100% ping the DRC here. Yep. Yeah, you should start the turn because it's so obvious. Like, I mean, it's so small, you know, but like, you know, Magic is a fucking hard game. So if I see you play your land super quickly at the beginning of your turn and you don't, and then you tank for 10 seconds, I know for a fact that the rest of your hand is no lands. Because you have the obvious play first, and then you think the non-obvious stuff, and then you do the next play. And that's bad. You should make all your plays seem, you know, like the same. They're not like, oh, this is the critical important play, and this is shitty. You're just like, okay, look at my hand. How does to see the Ravager? This, okay. I'll play this, do this, and do this in this order. Okay, let's go. Sorry. You or me, you know, I do this too, but I like to remember. Sorry. I don't know why I'm pointing to the opponent lightning bolts. You expect him to announce his own triggers, but then you say, okay, you may surveil. If he doesn't announce his trigger, you always say, you may surveil. You don't go and say, you don't react, because then if not, people will try to get you. People will be bold, and they will not announce their trigger, and when then you react, they'll say, oh, I need to surveil. Or they will do the thing, they will let you do the thing and then surveil. So always important. What's you doing, boy? All right, that's good. I guess they were lightning bolt in the Hangavak Walker. But didn't read the card. Welding jar. Again, didn't he surveil at all? Did he miss a surveil? Maybe he just missed a surveil. We are way ahead, let's say here. Opponent is gonna... Again, weird tapping. Why you do this? You're showing me you have a Murktide. I know you have a Murktide now. He missed the surveil, right? Like, why you... I mean, this was a long tournament, guys. I'm not criticizing the players. I'm criticizing the plays. It's important, you know. If you're watching Antonio or Sean, I know you're way better maybe than me, and you have been playing for the whole day. But these are small things. They matter, you know. Because he went, tap his whole board. Oh, no, I don't do it. Hello, Panda Nagonda. How are you, mate? So if you go and you say, oh, I'm just going to cast my Murktide, and then you rethink it, it's obvious what you have. He obviously has a Murktide, right? One thing I could have done, and I've done this before, I've been doing this. Nah, it's okay, Panda. We just, you can, I'll rate you. So I think here what I would do is probably sacrifice the Hangavak. But it would have been smarter even to maybe not sacrifice the hang. Like, yeah, skills is more Panda, definitely. But again, don't put the lightning bolt on the graveyard, dude. Wait for it to resolve. Wait for him to declare everything. Yeah, so here's cool. He sacks both. Again, guys, this is important. You know, if you put your bolt out of the stack, I know you don't have anything else. Yeah, charm hurts. So then you can always respond to charm, but I would have maybe sacrificed the Hangavak on my turn. Exactly, it's very important. But if he charm, like he doesn't have charm, he has a Murktide in him. This is super cool that they made this. But again, wait for the thing to be resolved. My paper opponents always do this too. See, they had a Murktide. I saw it. I didn't even see the card, and I knew he had a Murktide. Right? I mean, it's obvious, right? Because he just went there and tapped the 4 mana. Chill. Think your turn first. And never do this thing where you just remove the thing from the stack first. Let them do the whole thing first, and then let it go. Opponent super dead. I mean, there's many ways of doing it. My favorite way is probably attacking with Ravager and Ballista. I mean, there's so many ways to do this. I would just attack with Ravager. If they don't block, I would sack 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you put a counter here, so it's a 2-2. This is an 8-8. What is it? 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, and then 9. Yeah, I mean, it's basically over. I didn't see it, sorry. Yeah, it was Landier Seabold. Yes, that's correct. He has the last 2, so this is over. So I think the point is, you attack with Ravager. I think this is an easy solution. You just attack with Ravager, because if you attack with Ballista, it gets a bit awkward. You attack with Ravager. If he doesn't block, he's dead. If he blocks, you just sack the things. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't. Oh my god, it has double Ravager. Okay, this is over. This is fucking over. Yeah, this game is super over. I think I would attack with a Ballista too here as well. Yeah, this is over. This is over. Like, there's nothing you can do. He blocks there. I would attack with a Ballista. It doesn't matter. Because you can make the Ballista big enough to kill the Murktide. And then you're left with a big Ravager and a big Ballista. Yeah, Regen is a 5-5. So I would probably have made attack with everything. If they block the Ballista, I will just make the Ballista big enough to kill the Murktide. And then just still have a big Ravager. I don't know, this is fine too. I mean, there's nothing the Murktide gamer can do. He has 1 card in hand, no Delirium. How is he gonna deal with a 7/7 Ravager? He has a, I don't know what is that, an Engineered Explosives. It doesn't matter. Our threats are like 1 CMC, 2 CMC, and 0 CMC. So consider puts a counter spell on the graveyard and an island, and I think that's it. That is just basically GG. Now his opponent is going to do what every gamer of paper does for a while, is just to tank with an unplayable card in hand forever, while they stare down a board of humongous sizes. Just going to skip forward a bit. Yeah, he has any... Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what he does here. He's dead. E on 0. It's fine. I mean... I would just, honestly, just eat the Ballista and keep attacking. You have a Lurus in hand, you have a Spleniv Drum. You know what I mean? Yeah, 0 cards in hand. I would just attack. I mean, they're dead. Like, they're super dead here. So, yeah, 0 cards in hand, but it's okay. He has Lurus. So, yeah, I don't know what he draws. Yeah, there's an Engineered Explosives. He drew a land. That's great. I mean, you just attack. There's no need to... There's not much playing here. You just attack with everything. Your opponent will pop the E. You will eat this, eat this, eat this. You know. Put lures in your hand. Maybe actually you want to put lures in your hand first, tapping the Ballista, for example. Maybe that's fine, because the Ballista is not going to connect. And then you can actually replay the Lurus and cast a... Ah, you can, right? You can actually replay the Lurus. That's hilarious. You can play the Lurus and get a Welding Jar back. He had the Welding Jar before. So I think the plan is, yeah, you put Lures in your hand first. You attack, right? They will pop this. You sack. You replay Lurus and get a Ballista down. Sorry, get a Jar down. You can cast it now. He's missing 1 mana. Yeah, that's... He casts the Lurus. Okay, that's weird that he let him do this. Whatever. You cast a Welding Jar, that's fine. He pops the E now. It doesn't matter, the result is the same. You eat. So this becomes a 10-10. You attack for 11 and you have a Welding Jar. How is the opponent going to win ever? So the game is over. There's no need. There's no top decks and Murktide gamer land that beats this board. So yeah, GG. Casters are like, what the fuck happened? How did this guy win? All right, so that was cool. That was easy. Oh, he actually, that was the end. What is the quarterfinals? Oh, is this not the quarterfinals? It says quarterfinals here. Oh, maybe they just... It was the semifinals that we saw. Alright. Anyway, that was the guys. That was the video. Okay, I thought it would be I thought we were at one match still. Okay, there was like no... That was not even close, this game. Oh, this is not... What the fuck is going on? This is sealed. Anyway, there was nothing... There was really no color here. Opponent... Anthony played pretty well. Miss Lethal here, but whatever. Good games, good games. Well played. Well played, Antonio. Congratulations. And yeah, Murktide really would look pretty weak there. But he also had very good draws. We're going to try his list. So I don't know if it was posted on MTG Goldfish. So go ahead and try his list. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this content on YouTube, let me know and I will do the same. And I think that's kind of good. So I think I'll at least enjoy myself doing this.